Are you looking for good, solid bets in the NFL for Week 6? Professor MJ comes to the rescue, and I've got plenty of betting tips for you in this video. Without further ado, pick number 1 goes to the Chicago Bears plus 3 points against the Minnesota Vikings. Please note that I've recorded this video on Monday, so 6 days before kickoff. Depending on when you watch this video, the line might have changed or information that I discuss could be different. At the time I made the video, all signs pointed in the direction of Justin Jefferson missing the game. He exited Week 5's loss to the Chiefs and never returned with a hamstring injury. Those types of injuries tend to take at least 1 week to recover. Minnesota's offense was not necessarily firing on all cylinders even with Jefferson in the lineup, so things might get pretty difficult if he is out. The Vikings have scored between 17 and 28 points in their 5 games this season, so they are not lighting up the scoreboard. Meanwhile, are the Bears and Justin Fields turning the corner? Fields is coming off back-to-back impressive performances, having tossed 4 TD passes in each of his past 2 contests. I'm aware that he was not facing stout defenses, but the Vikings are not very good defending the pass either. I also like the fact that Chicago gets 3 extra days of rest and preparation after playing last Thursday. The revenge factor comes into play since the Bears lost both meetings with Minnesota last year. Minnesota posted a perfect 11-0 record last year in one-score games. So far this year, they are 1-4 under these conditions. They are probably feeling frustrated right now, and frustration often leads to bad results. Let me take plus 3 points with the home squad against a division rival holding the same record. To me, that sounds like good value, especially against the fading Vikings without their top player. My second official NFL pick for Week 6 is the Los Angeles Chargers as 2.5-point underdogs against the Cowboys. There are lots of arguments supporting this pick, so let me share them with you right away. First, the Chargers are coming off their bye week, while the Cowboys just played against a physical 49ers team. There is no doubt which team will be better rested in the Monday Nighter. The travel factor also gives LA the edge. Indeed, the Chargers will be at home for the 3rd straight week, while Dallas will be on the road for the 3rd time in 4 weeks. As a matter of fact, the Cowboys played in Arizona before going back home for a single game. Then they played in San Francisco last week and are headed to LA this week. The Chargers managed to get the W in their last game despite missing lots of key starters. Running back Austin Eckler, wide receiver Mike Williams, safety Derwin James, and linebacker Joey Bosa. They are all pretty likely to suit up for the Monday night game, except for Mike Williams, who is done for the year. QB Justin Herbert also suffered an injury to his non-throwing hand, but he should be just fine. The Cowboys vs Chargers game will represent the Kellen Moore revenge game. He was criticized often as the offensive coordinator in Dallas, and he found a new home with the Chargers. Can he stick it to his former team? We'll find out soon. The Cowboys have picked up some easy wins, but their defense feasted on several bad offenses. The Giants, the Jets, the Cardinals, and the Patriots. Last week, America's team was humiliated 42-10 on primetime television in San Francisco. That is my only source of concern regarding this game, as Dallas might be more motivated given their poor outing last Sunday. Still, there are so many betting angles telling me to bet the Chargers that I have decided to pull the trigger. Let's go with Brandon Staley's team, plus 2.5 points at home against the Cowboys. It's time for some quick-fire leans, which means they are unofficial betting plays. Up first, I am tempted by the New York Giants plus 14.5 points in Buffalo. Pretty much all the numbers indicate to back the Bills. As a statistician, you would expect me to go with Buffalo, right? Well, as much as I like numbers, I also incorporate my own take of the situation. In this case, the numerous key injuries on defense for the Bills are going to make it difficult for the team to cover such a large point spread. Also, I think the Giants are not as bad as what we've seen so far. The biggest problem is their offensive line. But will the Bills really manage to put a lot of pressure on Daniel Jones? Greg Rousseau and Daquan Jones could be out. The Bills also lost their best linebacker, Matt Milano, and their best cornerback, Tre'Davious White. It looks like Saquon Barkley should be back on the field, which will give the offense a big boost. In my opinion, the G-Men will do enough to cover the 14.5 point spread. My second lean goes to the Cincinnati Bengals minus 2.5 points against the Seahawks. After 4 rough games, Joe Burrow finally looked like his old self last week. I know he was facing a weak Arizona defense, but he still torched them. Moreover, he was able to scramble, which shows his calf injury is not bothering him nearly as much as it did earlier this season. Seattle is coming off its bye week, so that's bad news for the Bengals. Still, I feel like the spread is very reasonable and I like Cincy to win this game by a field goal or more. Lean number 3 for Week 6 in the NFL goes to the New England Patriots plus 3 in Vegas. Given that I am a contrarian by nature, that should not come as a surprise. The Patriots have been outscored 72-3 in their past 2 games, but I like the Pats to rebound. Teams that have been shut out in recent years have obtained a 29-3 record against the spread in their next match, so I like the trend to continue. The Raiders lose 1 day of preparation after playing on Monday night against the Packers. And the Patriots will be looking to avenge a heartbreaking and unbelievable game that they lost 30-24 on the last play of regulation last year. Let's move on to my fourth lean, which goes to Tennessee plus 3.5 points against Baltimore in London. I have often said that I don't like Mike Vrabel's team when they are established as favorites, but they often cover as underdogs. I'll stick to my word and go with the Titans, especially given how Baltimore has not been very impressive. Their wide receiver group is struggling a lot. They made several drops in Pittsburgh last week. The Ravens could also go through a letdown game after facing 2 straight divisional opponents, the Browns and the Steelers. I like Tennessee to cover the 3.5 point spread. I've got a 5th lean for you, the New Orleans Saints as slight favorites in Houston. I am not officially betting the Saints, mostly because they will be on the road for the 4th time in 5 weeks. However, I like the improvement they have shown over recent weeks. Derek Carr's shoulder appeared much healthier last week in New England. Alvin Kamara is rounding into form after playing his first 2 games of the season. Chris Olave was slowed down by an ankle injury last week, but he should be in better shape in Houston this Sunday. Houston's defense is surprising many, but New Orleans' group is still a notch better. I like what CJ Stroud has done this season, but to me the Saints are a more complete team. Earlier in this video, I gave you 2 official NFL wagers for Week 6. The Bears plus 3 against the Vikings, along with the Chargers plus 2.5 against the Cowboys. I have already shared another official pick on the Detroit versus Tampa Bay game at mjpicks.com, and I am likely to have more this week on sides and totals. However, our bread and butter are the NFL player prop bets. If you combine sides, totals, and prop bets together, you can expect to receive an average of 14 NFL picks per week at mjpicks.com for just $21. That's just $1.50 per play, so this is really affordable for all budget. And that does not even include around 5 or 6 college football picks per week as well. Why not give it a try and see for yourself why many hundreds of people have signed up to the best sports betting service in the world? I'm looking forward to send you the best betting picks that are backed by solid data and true statistical analyses that I am running every single week. Let me send you in your mailbox and via SMS the top plus EV bets in football. I'm Professor MJ, holder of a PhD in statistics, wishing you a great and lucrative Week 6 in the NFL.